if you don't eat red meat or you don't eat pork, this might be an option for you as well. Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 123 of the podcast. Really good episode, another daytime episode for you guys. We continue the theme of food-related stuff. I get into that, a list of some food, some places that you can eat, a short list of some fast food places and my take on them. Then we get into dating and nightlife a bit. We get there eventually. I kind of get lost a few times in the podcast, my bad, but I kind of pull it back eventually. But we get into nightlife a bit. It's going to be part of a two-part kind of thing I'm going to do this episode. And the next one, again, a little inspiration from you, Rod. And as always, I remixed it a little bit. But I think it makes for really good content. I'm looking forward to you listening to this again, and also what I'm going to talk about in the next episode as well. So strap in, get ready, and enjoy. Hey, everyone. What's going on? Welcome to episode, I think it's 123. I can't do anything right now. If you're watching on video, you might not be able to see. Literally, my dog is sleeping on my lap right now. He saw me sit down, get in position to record, and he was like, oh, great. Chance for me to, get some Z's. Okay, he's like, fuck this shit. He's like, fuck that. It's my bad, dog. Yeah, a week has really flown by. It seems like I was just talking to you guys like a few days ago, which is a good thing. Time is flying. Pretty much nothing really, no big news going on in Japan. I haven't really checked the news, but nothing really blockbuster hitting the scenes. So, I have today. It's a Friday. I have today off. Everyone's out of the house except for me and Doggy. So I got to work through the weekend. So I was like, all right, let me just take this time, record, talk with you guys, see what's going on with y'all. While I got it. So that's going on with me, and my new phone is coming tomorrow as well. I got an iPhone coming in, iPhone SE coming in for me, so that should be cool. I should have told them red. I told them I wanted a white one because they woke me up from a nap, but I was like, I don't give a fuck, and I think I said white, whatever. When I go in there tomorrow, I'll just be like, nah, fuck that, give me the red one. And they'll be like, oh shit. But it's a fucking iPhone. You put a case on it anyway. It doesn't really matter. I got SE. I'll have the same fucking case I have. But, just upgrade the quickness for my phone. If you don't know what happened, I think, I messaged Rod about it. If you don't know what happened, I had some phone issues like a couple of weeks ago. And basically, my phone just fucking died on me. So I had to run out. I was trying to get SE, get it replaced, but they didn't have any in stock. They didn't hit Japan yet, so I had to wait a few weeks. During that time, I got my old phone fixed, which I couldn't get. Luckily, I got all my pictures and videos before I did anything. I got all my pictures and videos stored on a hard drive. Because when I went in there, and I was like, all right, can you transfer my data? It took a lot of talking to. They were like, okay, they tried it. It didn't work. So they just had to give me a completely erased, clean phone, But as long as, the most important, I got pictures of, videos of my fucking son and my family for the past few years and stuff. So that's the most important thing. Everything else, like my fucking apps and shit, whatever, I got stuff on the cloud, so I got the important stuff like my contacts and stuff transferred, but you know how it is. If you got a smartphone, you've got a smartphone, it's just an inconvenience if anything. So I might have to do that again. I'm just starting to get my phone acclimated, my phone settings acclimated, but just transfer everything, so it should be all right though. And that's about it. It's fucking hot. Like I was debating whether or not I would leave the air conditioner on or not while I'm recording. But I was listening to the amount of background noise, and on the audio podcast I can just cut it off. But on the video, y'all hear all that shit. So I was just like, fuck it, let me sweat it out with y'all. So I just turned off the AC, and so if it gets too hot, I'm gonna wrap up this fucking podcast and turn that bitch back on. So because it is a rainy season here in Japan now. It was announced yesterday. And again, looking at the weather report, it's just like rain almost every day. Like I got some laundry hanging outside. So if I hear rain, I might have to cut the shit off and run and put that shit in. But that's about it. Pretty much a chill day for me. Gonna, after this, do some more work and stuff. My bank saga is still going on. Oh, I can give you an update on my bank saga, I guess. So, wow, that was really... Shit. Was me on the previous episode? Was me dealing with my bank? Wow, time is just flying. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But, it seems like I talked to y'all about my bank situation like the other day, but apparently that was like a week ago. Fuck. But basically, I'm still trying to figure out stuff, how to, get stuff acclimated. No, I have another bank situation, which, if you're American, I have a stimulus check from the American government, from that, whatever. Okay, I'm not gonna get all political, but so, cashing that check is like mission impossible, basically, here in Japan. It's fucking crazy. I just have the check. I'm just not able to do anything with it. It's like fucking toilet paper, pretty much. I went to my bank and they were like, fuck, get that shit out of here, So pretty much my plan, strategy now, what I'm going to have to do, I'm trying to send that money to America. So pretty much what I'm gonna have to do, my bank is SMBC Mitsui Sumitomo. There's a few big banks here, just so that you know. I can give you a quick rundown of Japanese banks. So Mitsui Sumitomo is the bank that I have. I've had an account with them the longest. The reason why I have them is because when I came to Japan originally, my English school that I was working for signed me up with Mitsui Sumitomo. So they gave me a credit card. They gave me, that bank account. They misspelled my name. Well, okay, I was thinking about this story the other day too. Basically, in the registry in Japan, my name is actually, in katakana, my name is actually misspelled. Technically, my first name is supposed to be Akil, Aki, with a bow, a line, and du. But it's spelled Akil with no bow. What happened is basically when I story time. when I came to Japan originally, I come here, Nova, which is the company. If you probably, whatever. Anyway, they have a whole long story. I'm not going to go into it this time. Maybe another time I'll relive the great Nova bankruptcy of 2007, I think that was, of 2007 or 2000, maybe 2007. Yeah, it's 2007. The great Nova bankruptcy of 2007 was a big, huge story. It changed the landscape of teaching. It changed the landscape of foreign people here. I don't have my wedding ring on. Oh yeah, it's okay. It's up there. Everything. It was just a huge event that changed the landscape of foreign people living in Japan here. I haven't really talked about it on here before, but I won't get into it today because the air conditioner's on and I got other shit to do. Let me make a note. We're doing this live. Let me make a note. Where are my notes for episode 124? Nova. One second. Nova bankruptcy. Okay, there you go. Story. All right, so next episode, I promise I'll tell you guys that story. Okay. I just don't feel like getting into this shit today. I mean, it's kind of a long, drawn out story. If you're not an English teacher here in Japan, then you probably don't know what it is. The company still exists around, but trust me, I'll explain it next episode. I promise. It'll take me like about 10-15 minutes to talk about it. It's just fucking crazy, and what happened or whatever. But anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, what? Oh my gosh. Anyway. How was I talking about Nova? Fuck. You guys, see, I'm completely lost. Sorry, I just got completely derailed on what I was talking about. But anyway, my phone, and everything, and so I'm getting that taken. So I'm getting I remember, my bank. That's what it is. Oh yeah, I got it. So When I came to Japan, my orientation session at Nova at that time, even if you do come to Japan now, the Nova you know today is completely different than the Nova that existed in 2007 or 2004 when I came to Japan. They had, a huge orientation session, whatever, which is funny. Don't worry, I'll tell you next time. And they did my forms for my bank account, for my registration to apply for my visa, and everything on site. They just had someone do it. And it was a non-Japanese guy doing it, because they had like, I don't know, 60 people there. I can't even remember, but it was a bunch of people there. And the guy was just like, okay, what's your name? All right, cool. And he could, I guess, write in Japanese. So he was just like, yeah, whatever. And I found out a few years later that my name should have a bow, like a bow meaning a line, in it, just for pronunciation, to pronounce it correctly. So I was talking with a lawyer, I think, because this was when I went to establish my company. When I really had like someone, an expert there, because I knew it before, but I was like talking to him about it, and I was like, yeah, I kind of, my name, he was like, you should have a bow, right? I'm like, yeah, technically it doesn't, and I was like, is there anything I can do about it? And he just looked at me and was like, nah. And so basically he was like, yeah, just unofficially, just write your name with a bow. But any of the official documents you got to write it the correct way, or the way it's registered. So that's pretty much how I have like 3 names technically. I got my name written in alphabetic letters. I got my name the way it's officially registered, and then I have my name the way it's correctly said, which is fucking crazy. So, and there's really nothing I can do about it, but it is what it is. So. Hopefully in the future, I don't know, hopefully maybe in the future Japan will change to Roman, no, I don't think they'll change to a Roman numeral system in their records, but I don't know, something. Which reminds me, Rob, we were talking about the Hanko thing, changes coming to Japan and updates to Japan. The Hanko issue has not really been, if you don't know, because of modernization of Japan. Actually, this is something that has been in the news recently. Okay, yeah. So basically, the economic stimulus check in Japan, which I can use, which I still haven't gotten yet, is there's an economic stimulus package, money given out to everyone in Japan as well, which I can also get to Chang, but waiting on that to actually come in. So I've gone through the process and everything, just waiting for it to be deposited. But the thing is, like, it's taking forever. Like, I think it's almost taking like 2 months for people to start getting their money. You've probably heard me talk about it before. And so now that whole debate is becoming into the news, like, why is it taking y'all so long? And I think I couldn't really I caught like half of the story last night when I turned on the news, but I think it's coming up in like the parliament and stuff here in Japan, because like they showed the flow chart. I caught like half of the story when I got out of the bath last night, and it was like the most confusing ass flow chart in the world. It was like, and they kept like flashing it like every few seconds. You can tell like they had already introduced it, so I couldn't really get the whole grasp of what they were talking about. But then after a few minutes, I realized they were talking about the disbursement of the funds, and the flow chart I think was the amount of subsidiaries and outsourcing companies that were used to hand out the money. And no joke, this was like a huge, it looked like a March Madness bracket, man. It was like fucking it was crazy. It had to be at least like 10 to 15 organizations on it, with I would say about like 5 or 6 different levels, to explain how different companies or organizations that were in charge of whatever. And I think I saw on like one, again, I don't know the details of it, but I'm just guessing at this point, but like they showed like an invoice from one of the companies, and it was just like, I think 65 billion yen or something like that, which is like, like $600 million or something like that, or $650 million over, and it wasn't itemized, it wasn't anything, it was just like an invoice. Just like, okay, you guys pay us 65 billion yen, no reason, no nothing, no explanation, so the whole thing about the process is really cloudy and murky and things like that. It goes a bit deeper with one of the largest advertising companies, Dentsu. I'm sure you might be able to pull something up. I'm just not going to do it right now because I don't want to derail the podcast. And it's starting to get hot up in this motherfucker. So yeah, basically, basically the bureaucracy of Japan is just eating up a bunch of money, and the cash is just going into the pockets of bureaucrats and executives and stuff like that. Is what it looks like. I got derailed again. But basically, but basically, so going back to my bank, that's what it was, my bank situation. So because of my stimulus check for America, I can't do anything with that. I went to my bank, I can't do anything with that check. It's looking like my plan of action is this: my bank, SMBC. Oh yeah, I didn't. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm bouncing all over the place. I forgot listing several of the major banks in Japan. You have SMBC. You have Mizuho, which is a conservative bank. SMBC and Mizuho are kind of conservative. Mizuho is really conservative. My image is they're the most conservative Japanese bank you have. I wouldn't go with them if you're coming to Japan. I don't have a Mizuho account. I just UFJ, which I've never dealt with them. Is it UFJ? I think it's UFJ. And Shinsei more caters towards foreign people. They're a smaller bank. They're really minimalist. They do a lot of their shit online. They have you can sign up for an account in English. They have their stuff online. So I would say if you're coming to Japan and you can do it, pick anyone. I might say pick Shinsei, just because of the ease to use. They were the first one to go to online banking and stuff like that. So. If you don't have English skill, if you don't have Japanese skill, Shinsei, SHINSEI, is going to be the bank for you that I would recommend. But for me, basically, I have a Shinsei account, but I just don't use it. And it's an older account. I remember I told you previously about how their systems get updated and stuff like that. That was before they went to online banking. And they had some crazy security card that I'm supposed to keep that I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like some coded message card with numbers all over. It's fucking crazy. And they were like, I need that card to do anything online. And I just don't know what the fuck it is. So I'm just like, man, fuck it. So basically SMBC is the card from when I came to Japan, is the bank I'm most familiar with. My corporate account is in there. I got like 3 different bank accounts with them. Again, there's no real service fees for a bank account here, so you can just have like a million of motherfuckers. A lot of Japanese people do. And the interest rate is nothing, so you're just keeping your money there. It's like, keeping your money under your mattress kind of. But so pretty much to get my new theory of how I can get access to or cash this fucking check is my bank SMBC has another subsidiary, Prestia, which is I think just catering towards international transfers. Again, they're trying to go online, whatever, all this shit modernized. So I went to my regular branch and they were like, nah, fuck this check out of here. I checked the website. Prestia can deal with online checks, but it has a 2,000 yen, which is like about a $20 monthly maintenance fee. Okay, so pretty much what my plan is but you can transfer money overseas. So what I'm going to try and do is open a bank account with them, deposit my check, cash my check, transfer my check to America, a bank account in America, and then close my account. Pretty much is what I'm what I'm planning on doing. Yeah, and if I can't, if I have, difficulties transferring it overseas, then I might just, Western Union it directly to a bank account. It's kind of what I'm thinking, my game plan right now. So after I finish this, it said I might be able to do it on my phone. I'm going to try to open an account online with them today. And, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, you can see, like, these are one of the inconveniences about living in Japan. So that's that. All right. So here's what I got for you. Let me get into things because, again, this room is starting to heat up quite a bit. Let me turn on this fucking fan because my dog might start getting hot. Let me do something for my dog. Something for my dog. Come on. Okay. All right. Sorry. Again, people on YouTube, sorry if the fan noise kind of comes through, but I gotta help my dog, so he doesn't, until he's like looking at me like, thank you. All right. So this time around, right? Whoa. We have one more thing. It's gonna be in your description. Racial insensitivity in Japan. So NHK, which is like, the BBC, which is like the national news channel here in Japan, gotten a bit of hot water because related to, again, the Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd situation, and of several weeks ago, and they are continuing to now. Hopefully, I haven't checked American news for a few days, but basically they tried. There was a news show on it. I heard another foreign dude, black dude who lives in Japan, saying that he actually likes this show, but they did like this animated segment. They do this a lot, like in Japanese news, trying to summarize issues with like animations, for people who just can't follow what the fuck is going on. And they did one for black people and about black people, and it just wasn't in good taste at all. It wasn't racist. For me, it wasn't racist. Some people looking at it, the portrayal of black people might make you a bit upset. For me, it didn't make me upset. It just made me, again, just like shake my head. If you listen to me talk about the Naomi Osaka kind of situation, it's kind of another one of those type of things that's kind of embarrassing for Japanese people. Again, it just, seems like, I would imagine what happened was the producers of the show outsourced the animation to or whatever animated company, and they didn't know anything about the issue. They just had their own image of what black people are, and put some shit in there that was really insensitive to me, and look, it just made it didn't make black people look bad. It made Japanese people look bad for their portrayal of people from other ethnicities, and that's kind of something that happens here. So I put the link. I found it on Twitter. I put the Twitter link to it in the. It's like a minute something segment. They put the show down and issued an apology, whatever. But again, like, they just don't have voices of foreign people in those rooms to be like, yo, this is not a good idea. You need to cut that shit out. They got Japanese producers, a room full of all Japanese people who think, hey, this will be entertaining. Yeah, let's make a lighthearted news show explaining this serious topic in a very, condensed kind of way. And it just doesn't work. It works like on issues for Japan because Japan is a monolith. It's a homogenous society. But it doesn't work when we're talking about deeper in international issues. So that was, I put that in there for you. You can check it out. It might make you a little bit pissed off, but okay. Let me get into some stuff. I'm fucking up this podcast all over the place. Where did it go? Okay. All right. I'm gonna get into. I forgot to do. Hold on. I forgot to copy this. So, continuing with the theme that we talked about last time, I'm going to talk about fast food in Japan, continuing food. And there's an article from Japan Talk, which I really, again, one of my go-to websites for topics of information from the show. And it's a list of the 10 best Japanese fast food chains. I wouldn't call it the 10 best. Okay, whatever. Again, it's personal preference. But definitely 10 of note. And these, again, not your McDonald's, not your Burger King, not chains coming from outside of Japan, but they're kind of homegrown shops. So Yoshinoya number 1, Matsuya number 2. These are gyudon places, beef bowl restaurants. And Yoshinoya, it has the market share. They're the king, and Matsuya is number 2. Me personally, I prefer Matsuya because I ate it when I started living in Japan. Like, that's the first beef bowl place I went to with my coworkers. That's where they took me for the first time. I ate it like a bunch for like the first like year I was in Japan. So for me, I'm just more familiar with their flavor, their taste. Yoshinoya does have a bit of a deeper flavor to it. It is much more popular here in Japan. So again, you just have to judge. Generally, they're going to be right next to each other, side by side. They're both good. You can't go wrong with a solid, especially if you're hungry after a night out or before a night out. You want to just get something in your gut. Beef bowl is definitely the way to go. Generally speaking, I know Matsuya does. Again, I haven't been inside these places in like well over 5 years, but I remember Matsuya has a vending machine with pictures on it. So there you go. Even if you don't know Japanese, you just hit the put your money in, hit the ticket, take the ticket out, give it to the staff, sit down, give it to the staff, and your food comes. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Even if you don't have any Japanese skill, you can kind of get what you want. You can get a beef bowl for like 600 yen, 700 yen. Again, just subtract 2 zeros from it, and you get like $6, $7 US. Pretty good. For me, next one, my favorite. This would probably be the top of my list is fast food places. If you're talking burgers, you gotta talk Freshness Burger, man. Freshness Burger is the king of burgers here in Japan for me. Like, they just do it well. Like, it's just a really solid burger, made fresh, real beef. It's a bit pricey. It is. You for like a double cheeseburger, you're gonna be paying like 1,000 yen or something like that, which is about $10. I don't eat like burgers and stuff now, but I used to. When I used to eat it, I used to also get like a fucking smoothie. They have like strawberry smoothies, which are really good as well. You just can't go wrong with Freshness Burger. They're not as big, so they're not as many. But if you find one and you have the time, go in. It's definitely a really quality, good burger experience. They have other shit like hot dogs and like popcorn shrimp and stuff like that. It's overpriced. Stick with the burgers. Trust me. Just stick with the amount of shit that you would get. The burger is what you're not gonna be as satisfied as if you get a burger. So just do that. Number 4, Moss Burger. You can substitute Moss for Japanese. This is Japanese burgers, man. Like, it is a burger shop for Japanese people. I remember my old landlord. I can't tell you a story about my old landlord. nothing between me and her. I didn't fuck her or anything like that. But but she was interesting. But I can't tell those stories. One story in particular I cannot tell on this podcast. Sorry guys. Yeah, if I ever, if any of, again, I've met some listeners in the past. If in the future we ever meet face to face, and you say, Akil, and my wife is not there, you say, Akil, tell me the story about your landlord. I can tell it to you 1-on-1, but I cannot tell you this shit on air. I'm not putting that on wax. All right. But anyway, so Moss Burger. The first time I went to Moss Burger was with my landlord and my old landlord at the time, and like I remember eating it, and I was just like, yeah, what the fuck is this? I got my burger, I bit into it, and I was just so pissed off and disappointed. Like, because the burger, you get a big bun, you get the burger, the beef patty is really small, undersized. You get this weird tomato fucking paste sauce. It's just overpriced, and the flavor is for Japanese people. Japanese people love it, but as a foreign person, for me, I've eaten it a few times and never been satisfied with Moss Burger. So fuck that shit. Number 5, let me see what this Moss Burger. Moss Burger's thing is loading burgers with sauce and toppings. Yes, they put wax paper around the burgers so It's challenging to eat without losing half of the toppings, which is true. Yeah. Fuck Moss Burger. All right. Lotoria. I've only eaten Lotoria a few times. Just now I think they partnered with, I want to say Wendy's. I think they partnered with Wendy's. Oh no, is it Fresh Kitchen? We'll talk about Fresh Kitchen later. No, I've never really eaten Lotoria. That's right. It just doesn't really appeal to me. So I'm gonna skip that one. Skia is another beef bowl place. It's not as popular as the other two. I've eaten it a few times. You can put a bunch of different toppings and shit on your beef bowl, but for me, it's just like a third-rate beef bowl place. So I just go to Yoshinoya or Matsuya if I have a choice. First Kitchen, yes, First Kitchen. Locals call it fakin. Okay, all right, fair enough. Again, I'm not really hanging out with people who eat First Kitchen all the time. I think they partnered with Wendy's, so you'll see First Kitchen Wendy's combos a lot, especially around Shibuya, if my memory serves me correct. The only thing I have in my mind about First Kitchen is they do fries well, because they have different powder shit like cheese or barbecue, whatever, that you can put in. I forgot if they put it in the fries, the bag of fries, or you do it, whatever, but somehow powder flavoring is injected into these fries, shaken in the bag, and it's pretty flavorful. So that's my only impression of First Kitchen is their fries. What else we got? Jeff, never heard of this fucking place. Koko Ichiban. Foreign people love this shit. It's a curry place. I've only eaten Koko Ichi like once or twice, which some people might kill me, because some people who come to Japan, they just swear by it, and I'm like, but I fucking make curry in my house. So you can get it with different flavors and spices and shit like that. I've eaten it, it's been good, but it hasn't been life-changing for me. Some people, who've lived in Japan swear by it so much. If you're one of those people, call me a weirdo, whatever you want to do, I'm sorry. Like, it's just good. It's not life-changing for me, so... But, if you come to Japan, try it yourself, and definitely leave a comment and tell me I'm a fucking idiot. Alright. Next one. Let me make sure all this shit's in. Okay. Next one, the last one on this list is Tenya. Yeah, again, Tenya is one of the places my first couple of years in Japan. I ate it. It's a tempura place. This is more of like classy fast food, I would say. Where you get like a tendon, which is again, gyudon, tendon, bowl, just means bowl. Tempura, which is like deep fried shrimp over rice. It feels a bit classier than the other ones for me. You're not gonna get as much volume, but the place is generally a bit quieter. The people are a bit quieter. The atmosphere, there's a lot of white, and it looks kind of like sushi bar-ish more than the other two. So they have the menu here. Again, it's not that expensive, 730 yen. They have vegetarian options as well. You don't only have to get shrimp. So if you don't eat red meat or you don't eat pork, this might be an option for you as well. Again, I haven't really been in the fast food kind of world for a long time. I'm kind of loosening up on my diet, getting a good pounds in there. But I just don't eat this type of food anymore. I try to stay away from it. But again, a night out, stuff like that. These are going to be some places before or during or after. If you're doing anything other than just typical ramen or stuff like that. Me personally, if I'm going out, I would probably say a gyudon would be probably the thing to do, right? All right, that's it. I got one more thing for you, then I'm gonna get out of here. So we're gonna transition a little bit, this episode and the next episode. Again, just going back and forth with our number one listener, Rod, to nightlife a little bit. Now, I'm gonna continue this on the next episode as well. But one thing, I'll make a prediction about the nightlife here in Japan. So I do, things are starting to open up a bit more. The government's loosening restrictions. I think nightlife districts probably in the next few weeks will come back online. But me personally, or they are coming online. I know one. Yeah, okay. But excuse me, sorry. But I will say, for me, I think a lot of places where nightlife are gonna die a slow death here in Tokyo, in the Tokyo area, and probably other major cities as well. Like it's just people aren't, people are going out, but they're not really, and for sure in your country too, they're not in a space where like, yo, I'm trying to go to the club, trying to go to bars. Some of the pictures, images I've seen just around my immediate circle, restaurants as well, it's not back to where it was, where it was, 4, 5, 6 months ago. Not sure when it will happen, and I'm not sure how long these places can hold out. So I think like a lot of the nightlife districts, you've heard me talk about, you might remember I talked about Roppongi in the past, and saying that I believe that area is kind of going to get demolished and completely renovated at some point in time. There were a lot of clubs and things like that closing in that area. I think this might speed up that process. A lot of real estate development, especially because there's a lot of government money floating around. Real estate people might be, rubbing their hands together a little bit, itching to get, deal the final blow to the Roppongi nightlife area. So just clear out a lot of the bars, the nightclubs, and things like that. Tear down those buildings, buy it all up, tear it down, and put up prime real estate. Put up, expensive condominiums, put up office buildings and things like that. There's already Roppongi Hills, there's already Roppongi Midtown. The rest of the Roppongi kind of area, nightlife district area, I think there is kind of prime for that. And now that a lot of those tenants are kind of going to be drying up and going out of business, I think big business is going to move in over the next like 6 months to a year, because it seems like we're going to be in this situation around that time. So, I'm sure like after those big companies, leave those proposals to the government, then the money's going to come in. So that's what I think is going to happen. But I don't want to be a downer and sourpuss. So let me check. Okay, good. We're still recording. I don't want to be a sourpuss, so I'm going to give you some nightlife stuff. And something we've never really talked about on here, which I'm surprised about. Well, I kind of know why, because I've only have one experience with this, is Gokans. A Gokan. And if you don't know what a Gokan is a matchmaking party. And I've only been to one Gokan in my life. I can't remember if I talked about this on this podcast, but I've been to one Gokan in my life. And it was an experience. Like, me and a buddy were invited to this Gokan. It was a time when I broke up. I think the last time I broke up with my wife. Now, was the last time me and my wife, one of those times, the second to last, I forgot. But I was definitely single. And I think it was the last time, because me and this dude, like the crew of people I was hanging out with at that time, one of my best friends here, we're hanging out a lot. And what happened was, like, he was going out with on a date with a girl, a nurse, right? He tried to sweeten the deal, because he was like, it's nurses, man. So me and another dude, he's like, yo, come on, it's 3 of them, we'll have a Gokan. So we went to fucking Outback Steakhouse, which is not a Gokan place at all. I should have known something was up, because we were in Outback Steakhouse, like, yeah, sorry. And I don't remember anything. I just remember just instantly regretting being there, and my friend did too. And because the girls they were so lame. They were just so annoying. They were nurses, Japanese nurses, of course, who could speak English. And I think at the time my Japanese skills, and this guy's as well, because this dude and I, we were buddies because we were both studying for the Japanese test. And like we got closer. Actually, we were buddies before, but we got a lot closer because we were both studying hard for the Japanese test. And like, we could speak Japanese well enough to carry a conversation as well. So could the friend who invited us, but they were just like, I know English so much, and just kind of like snooty and a little bit like, you can tell they dated foreign guys before, and just, had a cookie cutter image of like how foreign people thought and how, to interact with people. And, it was just like, you don't know me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, and so just weren't my type at all. And so after like, and, all three of us were just like, fuck. But, the friend who invited us was just like, yo, come on. He was just trying to coach us up, like, just to help him out, just to be wingman. But we were just having none of it. And so, like, I just remember after, like, 20 or 30 minutes, we just shut down. I was like, okay, I'm not talking to them anymore. And I just sat there. I just sat at, I remember I was at the end of the table. And I just sat there looking away from, I think the girl next to me or something. She was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? I'm just like, nothing. I'm good. Because when I kind of emotionally shut down people when I'm like had enough, I just kind of, you're done, you're cut off. And so she was like, no, nothing, I'm just chilling. And just looking for like 30 minutes until it's time to go. Like, oh, we ready to go? All right, cool. Bye. That was my only Gokan experience. But a Gokan is a matchmaking party. Generally speaking, you're not gonna get a one night stand out of a Gokan if you're a guy. I'm sorry. If you're it's mainly for meeting a boyfriend or a girlfriend, I would say, is the way you have to go into it, right? People, especially Japanese people, whether you're a guy or a girl, foreign guy or foreign girl, that's kind of the goal for it, and that's what you should kind of understand about it. It's not like hooking up or anything like that. But there are certain rules or etiquette, generally speaking, that go into it, and I think this article does a little bit of a job going over those things. So I'm just going to touch on some of these, give a little input, whatever my general knowledge is. But again, you can hear my experience in Gokan culture is not that deep. One thing I would say, if you are a guy here in Japan, generally speaking, anything over, like, let's say university, right? I'll just put any girl who's graduated university. I'll even put it even more so over 25 and older. If you're an English teacher, your chances in a Gokan are not going to be as high. What's going on, though? The dog just popped up at the door. Okay. Are not going to be as high. Just again, I'm not trying to put rats in your head or anything like that, but just because a Gokan, yeah, you're looking for a boyfriend or girlfriend, but also you're looking for typically a marriage partner. It's kind of in the back of her mind, especially if she's 25 and older. She's dating to find a potential boyfriend to become a potential husband. So instantly, when people meet you, they're looking for a potential husband. That's what they're thinking, right? And an English teacher is not an ideal image of a potential husband, generally speaking, for Japanese people. It just isn't. It used to be like maybe 20, 30 years ago, I would say, here in Japan. But nowadays, no, it just isn't, right? Which is fine, but just be warned about that, right? So, if you have a, generally speaking, like Japanese Gokans, from what I've seen on TV and it's in my impression, try to, that's their first thing, right? It's like, hey, I make this much money. I work for this company. Wink, wink. They have their suit. They have their watch. They're trying to show. They're peacocking as much as possible, basically. A Gokan is a Japanese guy's chance to peacock as much as he can, to try and get some booty. Right? And women, Japanese women, to line up the sights on who they think is best for them. I wonder if I can find. Let me see if I can find this, because there was something about a song a girl did that. It was a really good song. Let me see if I can find it. I'll look for it. Funny. I remember I saw it had winning the singles makes it. Let me see if I can play this. I think this is it. I remember what it sounds like. Sorry for derailing the podcast, but this is, I think, yeah, this is it. Okay, cool. But is it in English or not? Is it? It's fuck. English subs. English subs. Sorry, give me a second, you guys. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Cool. You guys are gonna enjoy this. Trust me. It's funny, but it's really true, actually. So let me put this in here in the comments before I forget. Sorry. Good. Give me a second. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it, you guys. Okay. I'll do that later. All right. Awesome. Yeah. That song really summarizes a Japanese woman's. Of course, it's a bit of an exaggeration, but it is very accurate. Actually, it's very accurate. Like a typical, I want to say normal Japanese woman's approach to a Gokan, but it also lets you know the thinking of a Japanese woman, who might on the surface look really sweet and cute and kind, but inside Japanese women are very calculating, and this kind of shows that the average one, I'm talking, of course there's some crazy people, whatever, party nightlife people, but I'm talking about your average office worker, your average businesswoman, is kind of like this. This is kind of the median, if you will. And if you're not familiar with that, you need to understand it, because on the surface you'll get all the smiles and everything like that, but under the surface a lot more thought comes in with it, and you can kind of see. I'm probably gonna watch this again after this goes off, just to kind of refresh my memory on it. It also reminds me of a story that I remember. Like, I can't remember if I told this before, but I went somewhere. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but if I told where before, my bad, whatever. But one time I was at this house party, and long story short, there was this foreign guy and a Japanese girl, and the foreign guy couldn't speak any Japanese at all. Japanese girl really couldn't speak English. Apparently, like through one of my wife's friends or whatever, they met before. And there was kind of some possibility, whatever. He was feeling her, he was blah 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 blah, whatever. And there were a few other foreign people there, and they were like, "Oh, there she is," and he's like, "Oh no, what am I gonna do? I kind of have a girlfriend, and I think she likes me, whatever." Now, none of these foreign people could speak Japanese, right? So I'm like the international representative, if you will. Like, I'm going between the two sides, because they were playing some, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, I'm also at the same time listening to her talk to her Japanese friends about this guy that she's sitting right next to. And it was like two completely different conversations. Because he's kind of like, I got it in the bag, but I don't know if I know she likes me, but I don't know if I should do it, whatever. And she's sitting there smiling, looking so cute and smiling at him. I'm so happy to be with you. And she's talking to her friend, not mean, not like in a calculating kind of like gold digging kind of way. I use calculating, but not like to put down Japanese women. Again, you might have heard me say before, Japanese women kind of have to be that way. And they're kind of raised and groomed that way by society, by older women, because in Japanese society, Japanese women aren't so assertive. So, I've heard older women say to me, the Japanese women are brought up to be chosen, if you will, by a man. You know what I mean? And that's kind of, they don't do the choosing, they're brought up to be chosen. So if you see Japanese girls, they're very proper, very womanly, girly, even womanly, very demure, because that's how they're brought up, so that when they are become adults, they make a good partner, and they're chosen by a man. It might sound fucked up, but if you watch this video, you'll kind of actually see what that means. Is on the surface, Japanese women are kind of, in society they are, at a weaker position. But if you see how they exert their strength, is kind of behind the scenes a little bit, and you'll kind of see that in that YouTube video if you take a look at that song. It's really funny. You have to turn on the subtitles though, but they are there. So in this conversation, this house party, she's like looking at him like he's smiling at her, not in a condescending way, but if you didn't know Japanese women, you would know, oh, she really, really likes him. But at the same time, I was kind of telling him, trying to drop hints like, dude, don't really put too much invested into this, because I'm listening to her, and what she's basically saying, like, yeah, he's nice, but you know, he doesn't speak Japanese, and he's a foreign guy, and you know, he's nice to like talk to, but you know, I don't really know, but you know, it's cool. We're at the party, you know, it's fine just to like talk and hang out with him, whatever. But if you didn't know those signs, you know, you would think like, oh, he's got that in the bag anytime he wants it, and that's kind of what Japan is kind of like. So in a Gokon, like if you go into that situation, you know, you need to kind of be aware of some of these kind of things. So I mean, and don't be cynical about Japanese women because of it. You know, it is what it is, right? So, all right, let me run through this really quickly. Let me get out of here because I got a few other things I want to do before I gotta go on daddy duty. All right, so let me see. Hidden rules you have to know before a Gokon. I'm not reading that shit. Introduce yourself briefly. Yeah, at the beginning of a Gokon, everyone kind of does a self-introduction. This is where you make your first impression, from what I've seen. Again, telling something about yourself. I've seen, I don't know if people actually do this, give their salary and stuff like that. I've seen Japanese people do it. If you have a good job, like if you're a lawyer or a doctor or something like that, this is your chance. You know, if you say those buzzwords, ding, instantly you get checked on the list. If you say a company name, like, you know, instantly you get put on the okay kind of list, a big company or things like that. So this is where, if you got that, use it. Especially if you're like a foreign guy, you know, you come to Japan, like, you know, an engineer, working for Google, working for, I don't know what the fuck, you know, working for Facebook, and you put out those buzzwords, your rank goes really, really high. Don't talk too much don't talk too much only with your friends. Yeah, Gokon, again, you kind of spread yourself out. It's not about you. You're kind of more, you know, the goal of this is to meet a partner. So you're supposed to talk not with the people you know, with the people you don't know. You know, even if like the people are boring as fuck, you know, you just gotta talk to them. Like, it's really rude for you to sit there and just hang out and chill with your friends, like I was doing at my Gokon experience. I knew it was rude, but I was just like, don't do what I did. But it was really rude. Do they talk about this later? Let me see. No, they don't talk about it. I'll expand on that a little bit more. Also, don't focus on one person. You know, you're gonna need to focus on if you do meet someone you like at a Gokon, you gotta kind of give everyone a chance. Even if you and one person are feeling each other, you gotta kind of give everyone else a chance. And actually, it's better if you do that, I would say, because if someone thinks that they got you completely locked up, you know, it kind of is not really so good for you. So I would say, you know, even if you really vibing with someone, you kind of don't know what that other person is really thinking, actually. So you also want to kind of talk to other people at the Gokon. There's going to be times where you guys switch or things like that. You're going to be at a table where it's like, you know, all the guys on one side, all the girls on one side. So, you know, randomly, if the conversation starts to die out, just listen to what the other people are saying and interject yourself into their conversation if you can, gracefully. Or, you know, go to the bathroom and maybe switch seats sometime, things like that. It's kind of how I've seen it played. When you want to go to the toilet, don't take your friends with you. Yeah, because again, that takes away the opportunities for other people to talk with each other, for seats to get switched around, stuff like that. So just go by yourself. Don't drink too much. Again, I've seen people drink way too much. I've seen guys pressuring women to drink a lot at the Gokon. I don't know if that's a thing, you know, to kind of loosen them up. Sorry, but I just don't know too much about it, you know. So, but I would say, me as a guy, I would not want to drink too much at the Gokon unless, you know, there are some girls who really want to drink and really want to party, you know. But you know, again, I can hold my liquor, so, but I won't be the one pounding all the drinks, right? That's the main thing. Exchange contact information with everyone even if you are not interested with them. I can't really speak to that. Again, I've been married for a long time, but read the article. You know, again, Tokyo Girls Guide, Tokyo Women's Guide, Tokyo Zukan, I believe, Tokyo Joshi Zukan. was a show I mentioned before. They had a really interesting Gokan situation. Watch that if you can. But yeah, for me, again, when I was single, I would imagine if you're a foreign person coming to Japan at your workplace or going out at nightlife, is kind of how you're probably going to meet a lot of people. You kind of need to be hooked up with a group of Japanese people to attend the Gokon. And if you don't, and you also need to have some Japanese skill, generally, I would say, to be on a Japanese Gokon. And, sometimes people, you got to be careful. If you don't have Japanese skill at all, and it means talking from a guy's perspective, if I don't have a Japanese skill at all, and I meet Japanese people and they quickly invite me to a Gokon, I would be very skeptical about that situation, because sometimes, like, what might happen is, you've heard me talk about, like, be careful, like, who the Japanese people you associate with. But for a Japanese dude, inviting a foreign person to a Gokon is good, because it makes that person look cooler. Like, oh yeah, I got all these foreign friends, international, this is my guy, and they'll talk for you, and, basically them interpreting for you gives them a chance to speak to whatever girl they want to talk to, and they can say whatever the fuck they want. They won't talk shit about you, but they can, what I'm saying, like, you seep off your coolness as a foreign person and interject it into the women. You know what I'm saying? And so it puts them at a most advanced, like, oh wow, you can speak English, wow, you're bilingual, wow, you have foreign friends. On the surface, it looks like, yeah, come on over, there's some cute girls, you can talk to them. But actually, really, they're doing it for themselves. For me, that's what I would think if I couldn't speak Japanese and I was invited to a Gokon with all Japanese people. Like, because if you can't speak Japanese, you got no shot at all. You know what I'm saying? Unless, like, the girls can speak English as well. And in that case, hey, do your fucking thing. But all right, let me get out of here. It's been it's coming up on an hour. Like I said, next time, what do I have for you guys next time? Next time, again, I'll go a little bit deeper into nightlife, Rod, and I'll tell the Nova bankruptcy story. I'm definitely going to be drinking for that one. Like, that one's going to go down at night. I'm going to need some beers. I'm going to need some shit to talk about that, because that is just such a deep story and a pivotal moment in Japan. My personal life, as well as life in Japan. I'll give you guys some backstory about my journey, probably. So get comfortable, strap in for that one, and definitely check out these links, especially that YouTube video. I think that's not only entertaining, but it gives quite a bit of insight for your dating life. So alright, y'all, let me leave it there and let me go do some shit and fucking turn on this air conditioner. My dog is like, sorry, I'll holler at you next time. Peace.